Hey, what's up, everybody? As my wife's signs say, shut the front door. It's season 4. Let's go. It's your friend CL King coming to you live from where else? The High Definition Studios here in Impactville. I am sitting atop the Ruth E. Plowden Legacy Chair. And it is my honor to carry on her legacy. And it should be your honor to carry on the legacy of those that mean something to you. I think I got everything set here. I haven't been in the studio in a while, so had to get my bearings. But we got the bearings back. So yes, this is Impacting Life 24/7, the podcast, season number 4. Can y'all believe that? I posted earlier this week a video of like one of our first episodes on podcasting, and then our last episode of season 3, just to show the tremendous difference and growth that this program has had. Now, along the way, I have watched some folks attempt to do the whole podcast thing, and they decide it's too much for them. And they quit after just, a half a season. This is not for the faint of heart, ladies and gentlemen. This requires the capacity to have tenacity. Yeah, like I said, we've been off since December the 9th and needed to make sure that we were getting everything set in order for this new season. And I had to get everything back in order in the studio, and I had to remember how to do everything. So tonight is the first night back, and we're very, very blessed to be a part of your life for these moments in time to bring you a broadcast that focuses on impacting one life one day at a time. And with that, we do this for a reason. Some people think that the reason why we do this is for self-gratification. Really, it takes a lot of work to do this. So to do it is a sacrifice, especially to do it live. So it's not about that. Some would think that it's about getting your name and your platform out. Man, it's so much more than that. I envision, because we have people that listen to the show all across the country and around the world, I envision people probably, down in the Philippines or over in the Ukraine, and because our show is broadcast in 32 countries around the world, and I envision someone downloading the podcast and hearing something that would impact their lives. And for me, that is the most value that this show brings. That if it impacts one life, then that is truly enough for our staff. And so thank you for tuning in, whether you're tuning in now or whether you're tuning in later or whether you're listening later or whether you're downloading our podcast on one of the 35 different platforms that carry it, or wherever you download your podcast. This is Impacting Life 24/7. This is the 4th season that we have committed to bringing you a podcast of impact. Now, I did something a little unique tonight. I told people if they wanted to join in with me, or if you've got questions and you want to join in with me, just go to my Facebook page and look at the last advertisement. I put the link for you to join me right here in the high definition studios. It's just that simple. We care about hearing from people. We care about sharing people's stories. We care about the lives that are being touched. We care about those that are sounding the alarms of life to say, hey, look, you got to get yourself prepared. There's so many things. And I was telling somebody about the show the other day that there are so many unique things about the approach of our show. We've done it different even from the very beginning, even though the beginning was a challenge. We've done it different. We've done it in a way that says, hey, listen, on Monday night, there could be somebody on that could be dealing with depression, that overcame depression, and their mission now is to help other people navigate through and win the battle of depression. And then Tuesday night, we could have someone on that's dealing with obesity and how to rein in obesity. Thursday night, we could have someone on who is helping people who were wrongly accused in jail to get exonerated. It's just that dynamic and so different. I mean, like, we've had people on here who've we've had people on here who have committed homicides and found a way to redeem themselves and then go on in life to impact people around them, to take their story of adversity and bring about real change. And so that's what Impacting Life 24/7 is about. I believe that life brings us impacts. Life brings us dynamic encounters that change the way we look once we encounter things. You know, that's what an impact does. An impact, once the effect of the impact, or once the element of the impact has landed and then it's removed, the evidence of that impact remains for years and years to come, i.e. the craters that we see in the earth, the craters that we see in the moon, etc. Those impacts, they remind us that something had an effect on that geography. And for us, we want to have an effect on the geography of life. So there's been a lot that has taken place in the last 4 seasons. We think about, I was showing folks in the podcast collab group how dynamic the show has changed from it being, I got a little light over here, from it being a show where, you know what I mean? I was sitting in the corner of my bedroom in this one little itty bitty chair with some sort of tripod microphone that didn't even work right, had no EQ, nothing. I was sitting in there and using a Bluetooth speaker, and when I would talk, it would echo because the person was on. It was, y'all, it was something. It was a sight to behold. To now, where, man, I got to make sure the fans and the coolants are on because of all of these lights in here. And, you know, on our book launch, the night I launched my book, we actually blew the circuits in the studio because there was so much heat. It was so much power being drawn from this room. And so my question to you tonight is, what happened during your holiday season? Did you have a good holiday season? Was it good? I think anyone who got time to be able to spend time with your family is probably appreciative of those moments. You know, you're thankful that you were able to come off of the trail of busyness and spend time with your lovely families. I recall Mike Black, our co-host, he posted something in our Leadership Institute the other day that really resonated with our leaders. That, he said, listen, be sure to make sure that you use self-care and rest, and don't overcommit yourself. And that's, I just told my 19-year-old son now, or 20-year-old son, I said, man, make sure, because you got a lot of energy, you got a lot of talent, but make sure that you don't overcommit yourself and stress yourself out. And then what started out as a positive thing becomes a chore and a burden and a millstone, right? So Impacting Life 24/7 is entering our 4th season. And what we will be doing is over the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing pre-interviews with our whole new lineup of guests. And we do that on purpose. We don't just want to bring folks on here that don't have a message for you. We cherish and we appreciate our audience so much that it's important to us that we don't just have somebody on here that's just wanting to run their mouth. Okay, we want to make sure that it's someone that is bringing an impact. It's someone that when you listen to their story, you'll be touched. And so I hope that you all had a great Christmas, a great New Year's. It was wonderful for us. New Year's was rather, we're getting older. So we was like, come on, can y'all hurry up and get this ball to drop so we can go to bed? Ain't a lot going on at midnight unless you know what I mean? There ain't a lot going on at midnight. So we Charity and I sat in the room. We set up in the studio here. We brought a table in and set up some hors d'oeuvres and had a good time together. Even Jeremiah was knocked out sleep. So it was just her and I on New Year's, and that's probably a good thing because it's a prelude to the way life is going to be one day. And so, since probably the last time we talked, you may have been following the work that we've been doing with our book, Who Ate My Brownie? Yes, I have it right here in my hands. I keep it in my hands. I keep it actually close by everywhere I go. And, the book is really designed to do more, far more, much more than create some sort of viral recognition for C.L. King. Okay? I'm so over that. Additionally, it was created for so much more than for me to heap a bunch of wealth upon myself. I'm wealthy enough. That's not my purpose for writing this book. It took 47 long years. I'm turning 48 in a few weeks. It took all this time of cultivating these emotions and stories to bring them to bear in the form of a book. And not everybody can do it, man. Less than 50,000 people a year write a book. And there is the great one, my friend, the VP, Greg Smith. How are you, brother? Greg, been working, man. We are just reaching out to radio stations and television stations and getting negotiations going because, one thing that we recognize is that this book is not a TikTok video. So it's not a 30-second endeavor that we did it for one night and then that's it. We understood it took 47 years for me to get this story out, and we're going to continue to put it in people's hands for the foreseeable future, for the weeks and months and years to come. And so on Impacting Life 24/7, that's what we do. And, what we're also looking at, I know, Greg, 47, and I could probably, I probably could still beat you on a basketball court. If we were talking at Thanksgiving, we said we should go play basketball, like relive that moment when he and I played basketball together. That was funny. I don't think he wants to do that now. But, we wrote this book for something so much more than that. So much more than popularity or fame or acclaim or a TikTok video. Right? You know what I mean? There's so much more than that. And where our society is, okay, let me just tell you, Greg, where our society is, brother, is that everything has to be in bite-sized chunks, quick, fast, and in a hurry. It better grab my attention, and if not, I am moving on. So we took all that into account when we created the book. When we put the book together, I made the dimensions of the book smaller so you could feel like you could get through it quicker. I made the pages less. There's only 116 pages in the book. So many people that have responded thank you for the hundreds that have gotten the book and the many dozens that take pictures and respond. They have said that, man, I sat down to read it and I read it from cover to cover. I couldn't put it down. And that's the goal. But then the secondary goal is for you to say, man, I gotta do more in my community. I gotta do more with those CL Kings that nobody knows about, And so we are blessed. We're working with, this whole process is a labor of love, right? We're doing it ourselves, learned the whole process. So there's no publisher involved. There's no middle person. It's just yours truly. And Greg is a seasoned author. In fact, once I got one more thing to add to the studio. I'm probably going to replace that blessed sign, get my bookcase over there, and get all of our authors back showcased over there. Greg is a seasoned author. I think he wrote his book in 2020. It's 100 Simple Ways How to Manage a Property and Evidence Room. If you like a copy of his book, just go to smithg1963 at yahoo.com. Look, I got it up here, brother. It's already programmed in there. And he's a seasoned author. He took a different route to get his book out. And he sold thousands of books. And so he was blessed to connect with a publishing company, and it just worked out grand for him. The reason why I decided to self-publish was because I felt like this was my labor that I needed to feel all of it. Like I didn't want to just have a surrogate or be a surrogate to this process. I wanted to feel the contractions. You know what I mean? I wanted to feel it all. And so even the negotiations associated with getting your book on the shelf, like at Barnes and Noble and other places. Our book is at Amazon and we're working on the other places. But the truth is that every step that you take, man, you're just learning. Your book, the process is like a learning experience. So that way, when God allows us to intersect with somebody else who's thinking about going down this path, we can help them for a nominal fee and not charge them through the roof to get their work published. And that's really what it is. Now, when you self-publish and you do it this way, you are your promoter, you're your distributor, you know what I mean? You're everything. And so you have to be on your A game. People say, well, dog, King, every time I turn around, I'm seeing a new video from you because that's what our society requires. You can make one video and leave it, and that video could do very well, but then there's a whole host of people that have never seen it. So sometimes we take the same video and repurpose it, right? And so I have learned that this is what God called me to do in this format. Greg and I have always seemed to take the, I guess, more difficult route with stuff. When we did our bullying summit, we had 2,500 door hangers that we had to hand out. And he and I out there, two old grown men, door to door, putting bullying conferences, door hangers up on the doors. Because here's what we realized, that if we don't do it, nobody will. And to those entrepreneurs out there, I just had Jay Halim on here the other day, and he is an absolute entrepreneurial expert. And he said there's a difference between being a business owner and an entrepreneur. There's a difference from being a business owner, or you own your own business, and being an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur says, listen, I got to invest back into the business to grow it so we can bring people on that have a different skill set, but can adopt our vision and expand and leverage that skill set. You know what I mean? Like, well, a business owner, they make $160,000 a year, and if they don't show up to work, well, that's just it. Well, but an entrepreneur is thinking bigger and bolder and grander and higher, and that's it for me, man. That's it for Greg. It's like, man, we've been at this so long that some of the results that we've gotten, we've forgotten about. And then some of the results, folks would probably just quit and say it's not working. But we have this thing, man. Every time Greg and I talk, it's like, man, I believe this is our year. This is the, Greg is the one who pushed me into writing this book. I was just lethargic and, resting on my laurels as a speaker, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to just go and tickle people's ears and then leave, man. We had to have something that had some staying power, something that's like, this will be for a generation yet to come. And so our first that we have on the calendar right now, our first on the calendar in-person book signing will be March the 5th. That'll be Sunday, March the 5th at Motion Church in Grantsboro. And they have a dynamic church led by the none other than the great Pastor A.B. Almore. And that church has been so kind to me and my team. And Pastor Almore saw that we were doing some book signings, and he said, you know what, I want to, this is what I'm talking about a person like Pastor A.B. Almore. And I'm going to try to stay in the right spirit when I say this. The brother saw what we were digging out, right? Man, this is a new project. You know what I mean? I'm not backed by some Fortune 500 company. I'm not on the New York Times bestseller list, but I got this story is touching people's lives, right? And so he said, man, look, I want you to come to our church and I want you to preach. I want you to speak 3 times because he got 3 services. You go be war slam out. And he said, I want you to bring your books. And he recognizes that, man, the support element in the community is so powerful, because you want to know why that just really touches my heart, because there may be people that Pastor Almore may not be able to get to, even though he is a phenomenal preacher. He's a church builder, but there may be somebody in his congregation that he's been trying to get to and he just can't, because another voice is needed to help him bring that person in. And he's like, King, I value the work that you're doing, and I'm going to invest in it. And when I saw that, I said, man, that's the real deal. Our second book signing will be way up in the Rust Belt, way up there in the city of Lorain. And we are working with Church on the North Coast, pastors Rebecca and Troy Thompson. And we had the 5th, they had a 5th, let me get it right. March 5th was their proposed date for me to come up there, but we already had Pastor Almore committed. And so tomorrow we're going to negotiate another date. And I plan to go up there to Ohio, to Church on the North Coast, because guess what? That's the place that helped me develop the skills that I have even used to this day. My calling of God, the ministry and the anointing on my life, my purpose for loving young people, all was cultivated at Church on the North Coast. And the church was just a block up the street from me. Thousands of people there. And this little scrawny 14, 15-year-old kid was taken in by Pastors Lewis and Tina Cayeton. They're the retired pastors now, and Becca and Troy are the senior lead pastors there now. And Pastor Lewis and Tina Cayeton, they took me in, and it was like they didn't know I was a foster kid. Or if they did, they didn't care. They just knew that this kid has so much potential. You see, when you see somebody that can do something great, you invest in them. You don't just walk by and say, oh, whatever, hope you make it, buddy. Which is sometimes how we support one another in the community, but I won't go there. And so I'm headed up there in March. We believe it'll either be the end of February or the beginning of March after Pastor Almore's services there at Motion Church. And then we plan to, before then, have a book signing in February at the Barnes & Noble right here in Jacksonville. And our goal is to do a series of Barnes & Nobles up the coast here in Eastern Carolina. And so this is the plan. The plan is not to just have done this for a few minutes and then quit. No, the plow is down. As you see, launching a podcast is a difficult task, and we have not relented yet. And yes, it takes our time, it takes our effort, but that's okay because if it impacts one life, Greg, that's right, bro, we're going to execute. That's my word for 2023 is execute. Don't worry about the seasons and the weather when you sow, just sow because God will have a blessing on the end. I don't sow for the blessing. I get surprised by the blessing. And then he does it so much that I just become less surprised. And I'm just like, wow, God, you just continue to raise the bar. You know, it's a blessing to have somebody like Greg Smith in my life because we couldn't be more different. We're from total two parts of the country, and yet he and I are inextricably tethered to this mission of, impacting lives. And I told him, I said, listen, man, I want to be able to cut you checks that we never have to worry about them bouncing. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to see you and your family blessed because you've been with me for so long, man, and put your name on stuff that I didn't have the good name to put it on. I said, Greg, I'm sorry, brother, I got us into this, but you go ahead and put your name on it. Let's pray and cross our fingers and hope it works. And it has, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Our prison, the prison, the jail ministry, I say ministry, we call it JTC, Jail Talk Campaign. And I believe everything that you do is a ministry, but the Jail Talk Campaign is something that we've been doing since the summer of 2022. And every month we partnered with the great Sheriff Chip Hughes, and we go into the halls and the bowels of the Craven County Jail, and we talk to the residents there, and we use intense motivation. I'm talking about standing up on tables, screaming motivation to inspire the residents to say, listen, when you get out of these doors, you're not coming back. I don't care what your past is. I don't care what the temptations have been. When you're going to be so full of resolve when you leave out of this jail and you leave the clutches of the law and you go as a free person, man or woman, that you're going to be so full of dynamic impact and motivation that we have poured into you that nothing, a pack of wild wolves couldn't bring you back. And so every month we go there. We're so thankful for Chip Hughes opening up, Sheriff Chip Hughes opening up his facility and taking a risk. He didn't know what kind of stuff we'd be doing in there. We've covered everything from lessons learned from the Three Little Pigs to don't drop the hammer. You know what I'm saying? It has been, we talked about on the last little bit, we talked about Ebenezer Scrooge at Christmas time and how Ebenezer Scrooge could not do anything about his past. Didn't know what the future held for him. But he did capture and take advantage of the present. Hello, Dr. Nate Dunlap. How are you, sir? And he's coming out with a new book. I'm so excited for it. I mean, you can take that link and come in and give people a preview if you want, brother. It's on my page, the link to get into the room if you want to give people a preview of your new work that's coming out. But Dr. Dunlap is one of our esteemed platinum sponsors, and we need more, definitely, because the work that we have done has expanded exponentially even since Dr. Dunlap has come on. But Dr. Dunlap is a man that he doesn't have to say a lot to say a lot. And when he says something, I'm telling you, it's powerful. So go get in that link, doctor, and we'll let you in the room because this is just the welcome back show. And our guest was supposed to be here tonight. She's up in Canada, but she's still recovering from COVID. So pray for her. The COVID-19 issue is still out there. So let's get Dr. Dunlap in here and hear what he's got going on. See, that's what I love about this show, man. We want to hear what other people are doing. Let's let the great doctor in. Oh, wait, hold on, doctor. I got to get one thing straight. I gotta turn down the music. Tell doctor to hold on. Don't go nowhere, doctor. I got you. I gotta stop the music here because it's going in the background, and that will be playing when you came on. All right, doctor, how are you, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How's every?
Man, it's so good to hear your voice, the great doctor. What's up,
Come on,
man?
man.
How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good. Life is good, man. I can't complain about nothing.
You would be
For
so
real.
proud of me today, doctor. I sported a bow tie too, in your honor. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, sir.
I was like, can this get me an honorary PhD? So, Dr. Dunlap, man, I sometimes get exhausted by looking at the breakneck speed in which you're doing things. But give us a little sneak peek into the new work that you got going on, sir.
Oh man, listen, totally off guard, but it's just in my heart. So,
Yeah.
um, many years ago, everyone, the way God operates with me, normally is not just, hey, sit down and write a book. It's normally gathering information, doing some writing, stepping away from it. And so now I think I've been released from the Lord to write the ultimate tithe.
The ultimate tithe.
Ultimate Tithe, the book that is going to wreck shop and put some things back into alignment when it comes to this whole notion, or what I would say, the biblical principle of tithing. Oh my
Right.
gosh, I'm so excited, man, because especially this is January, right? New year.
Yep.
And how many people have had, all these New Year's resolutions? And I don't think the calendar year had anything to do with the timing of it. It doesn't. I'm sure it did.
Right.
But a lot of people they look at tithing as the thing that if I do this, then it's gonna let me or make me blessed. Is if I do this, then I'm special in the sight of God. That's a bunch of no. That's not. That's not. It does not. The thing. I'll share whatever I share. Whatever comes up is gonna come out, brother.
Okay. Okay.
Um, the thing about tithing, and I've never been since 2008. Nobody ever knows my opinion on tithing because I've always come at it from a perspective of too many other folks have opinions and half of them are garbage,
Right.
right? Half of them are not biblically based or manipulative at its best. And so I will share that there is a need in this season for those who ascribe to Christianity, being a believer, a follower of the way, follower of Christ, whatever label you want to put it. There's a need for us in this reset moment to get some things in alignment with biblical principles that you say you believe, right? If you say that you believe in tithing, then you should understand the principles of tithing. It shouldn't be just what your pastor has told you.
That now see now I'm not gonna get the book out too soon because we want to make sure to pump this thing up well in advance. But so some people may have misinterpreted or interpreted that your quote unquote position on tithing was anti-tithing.
Okay, I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's not a thing. But are you? Let me just ask you because I don't know, and I mean I've been your friend for years now. Is it that we're using the tithing concept in the wrong way? Is that what you're going to shed light on, or is it tithing in general? Help us out.
I believe that when you get to the end of the book, or probably even before the end of the book, because I just write, so I just do what I do. I'm going to believe that individuals will know that the way that they have been tithing has not been the way that God has ascribed it in his book.
Ah, okay. So you and I told you this. I think we talked about this offline. You're touching a sacred cow. You know what I mean? This is everybody's holy grail. A lot is, and maybe it's just because what does it say? People are destroyed because there's a lack of knowledge.
Yeah, Hosea 4:6. My people perish. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. But the crazy thing about it, the knowledge wasn't with the people. The knowledge was with the leaders. Uh-oh. So yeah, for those who don't know me, have not been introduced to me formally, I like demystifying. I like breaking things down. I like deconstructing falsehoods and things that have kept people in bondage for years and years and years. I remember back when we had the PRF table, brother, years ago, right? The radio show we had. And I remember there was this sweet old lady who was about 60 something years old at the time. And we were teaching on tithing through about a couple of months. That may have been 2012 or 13. I can't remember. And she called in and she said, you know, I'm free. She said, I realized that I have been in bondage to tithing. Mm. And this woman has been up under some, what she would say is some great pastors, some very good leaders, some biblically sound. But there's something about this subject of tithing that just has made things tough for people.
Now, that's interesting. You know, we just saw a couple, and I will just leave their names out because you are the highlight for me. But we saw some prominent ministers in the country in recent months, last year, come out and, you know, say that all their teachings on tithing needed to come off the shelf, and they got a illumination. And I think me and you talked offline. It was a little too late. So see, and I believe that people can't misinterpret what you're going to be teaching with anti-giving, because you teach giving, you know, and that's what you're going to help us understand probably the healthy elements of giving without the law-driven elements of tithing. Am I right?
No, I'm going to deal. The lesson that we teach in PRF is called tithing out of law or love. Okay. So it's not veering all the way to the left of what we've been teaching, right? Tithing out of law or love. Like what is the position that you tithe out of? And no matter how many people want to talk about, and this is opinion, no matter how many people want to talk about the law doesn't matter anymore, and all of this, and we're under the New Testament dispensation, but show me where God talked about New Testament dispensation. Okay, let me keep going. Yeah. So we have these things that have been said, and they have been adhered to by good people, good-hearted people. But you can be good-hearted and be totally off with God. Yes. Right. That's so true. Yeah. I mean, like, look at Cain. He sold the wrong sacrifice. You're right, man. Yeah. And so I say this is, you know, the only person that has an issue with law and grace seems to be people that just either have been beat up so much by the law that now they found grace, and now it's the hell with the law. He was having a Geno Jennings moment, y'all. That's my man. We from Philly. Yeah. But here's what Jesus said, though. Didn't Jesus say, I did not come to destroy the law of Moses and of the prophets, but I came to fulfill them. Right. So if you start wrestling with that, I mean, you think about it. If you really think that you have the ability to take all of the law that God has given through all of the prophets, right, and because we have Jesus, now you get the ability. And Jesus said, I ain't come to get rid of it. But now you got the ability. Right. And you put yourself pretty high up there. I mean, I probably can't fool with you because, you know, I can't even be in your space. That's right. And it's not, listen, I tell people this all the time. When it comes to tithing, it's never been hard biblically. Okay. You never read about people struggling from tithing. Okay. So if you are a quote unquote tither, and there's no such thing as a tither biblically. Sorry to mess up what your pastor keep calling. He tearing our pews up tonight. Yeah, let's just tear them down and build them up in 3 days, or
Right,
3 pages.
man. Right.
But there is no such thing as a tither, right? Just be who you are, be a believer in Christ, and do the things that God has called us to do.
Wow. Instead of
this thing is not hard, but people were I beg somebody to try to find me an opportunity, find scripture that shows people who were tithing were still broke.
Ooh, boy. Woo. Yeah, I know where that's going, man. That's good. So let me ask you this, doctor, because I was tickled to death to see you pop up. When should we expect to see this new work?
Oh man, I'm really I'm working on it now.
Okay.
And I really think the timing of it will be the spring. Because income tax money would be gone, and folks would need to try to find something else to try to do. So might as well come out. After the income tax money is all gone, and after the stimulus money, it's just clear that nope, ain't no stimulus coming in sight again, and no unemployment stuff coming in sight. That probably will be a good time to release the book when folks need something to hold on to. And I would just say it's best to start off with a good solid foundation before you start trying it, because I promise you can be broke, busted, disgusted, all your income tax money, refund money is gone, no more stimulus in sight, and you can start on that next Sunday, giving 10% of your income. Your situation ain't about to change. Take it from me. Now, it don't work like that.
You just 10% lighter, right?
Yeah, it does. And I promise you, I'll guarantee you, the ones who pay attention, the ones who say, you know what, revelation has come to me through this book, through this work, which is going to be connected to this book. When that happens, listen, man, I want folk to be in a good spot. I want folk to have what they need to have.
That's
so
right.
They can live life more abundantly, because that's what Jesus said he came. John 10:10. Came to give life and give it more abundantly. So you can't be more abundant if you're not abundant in the first place.
Yeah, man, that's so good, because I'm telling you, over the 30 years I've been in church and ministry, et cetera, man, I've watched folks get their electric turned off, but they still made sure that the tithe was in. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, man, I used to scratch my head as a young Christian, like, man, is this really the way it's supposed to be? And doctor, what I told you, and I commit to, that number one, I'm going to buy several books. Let me just tell y'all something, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Dunlap, who is, you don't have to promote. You don't have to promote, brother. I'm good.
Look.
Look. He did me so wrong, man. The man, when we talk about a giver, he had no reason to. I could have just sent him a book, but instead I'm like, I get all these notifications. My phone is going off all day long, and I see Dr. Dunlap. And you know what I did, brother? I had actually packed up one book because I didn't look at the quantity, and then something told me to go back and just make sure I had the address and everything right. And I said, this man done bought 4 books from little old me. And let me just say this. Let me just say it, because he's here. I would say it behind his back. I talk about him all the time. But I have really been on this kick, this revelation of supporting one another. You know what I'm saying? Like if I see somebody that's got something going on that I can fan a flame and help out, I can't be there for the whole journey, but I can stop and fan a flame. And Dr. Dunlap, you always, always, always do that. Always. He's one of our longest givers as a sponsor. He bought 4 of my little books that I was hoping he wouldn't read so he could see all my spelling errors in there. You know what I mean? This because I'm a self-publisher, baby. but that's the heart that he's going to present this next work with. And I told him, I said, I want to do like a 3 or 4 night series with your book. I'm going to buy 3 or 4 of them. I'm going to give them away, buy some more, and help pump this thing up, because it is a topic that I think people in the, if we say dispensations of the old school and the new school, you know what I mean? I think you can reconcile, you know what I'm saying, both. I think you can reconcile the old generation and reconcile the new generation, because you're right. Some folks are just like, hey, like you said, to hell with the law. We living in grace, baby. Past the 40.
Yeah. Don't put your seatbelt on and live in grace. Gotcha. Why are we always cutting up? We be trying to be serious about God and stuff, man.
So we are so excited. You have, as you know, as a sponsor, you have a complete anytime you want to get on the show. I tell that to all of our sponsors, man, just tell us and we'll make a slot for you. But this work is going to be important. I want to help promote it. I want to help it, bring awareness to it, talk about it ad nauseum, and bring understanding to the body of Christ, man. And that's what Dr. Dunlap does. Tell us real quick. Sure. We're over, so real quick is relative.
Gotcha.
Tell us about the work that and the new year for PRF.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. PRF, Possessions, Resources, Finances. So the organization is called PRF Institute, a stewardship-based teaching ministry, national nonprofit organization that I've had the pleasure of being the executive director and leading since 2008. And our whole focus is trying to help transform the economic landscape of 200,000 people in 7 years. I think we're about 2 years in, and we ain't close to nowhere near 100,000 yet, but it's coming.
Right.
And what we do two primary things. One is the PRF Institute, which is the space where we have all of the teaching. And so one of the things that we've been working on for a couple of years is not just saying updating our courses, but transforming how we deliver courses. Yeah. It's some magical stuff happening behind the scenes in that realm. So when you see the PRF Institute, you can go on the website and you can see, but you don't see the courses yet, because we just say, listen, right now during the season of how we're shifting, if somebody wants any of the courses or lessons, reach out to us. We'll teach, provide what you need to provide. But what we're going to be providing will be able to reach thousands among thousands of men and women, young men, young women, to really take the 7 different lessons that we focus on, particularly stewardship, because stewardship is the key. If you're not a good steward, if you don't understand the principles of stewardship, then you'll be fussing and fighting 20 years into your Christian journey about tithing if you really don't understand stewardship, right?
You're right.
And I'm a smart guy too. I'm a smart aleck too, but I really have a big heart. I'm pastoral, but the other thing is, for your listeners, we are launching something really big. We've been supported by a community, a city. A mayor looked at what we were doing and funded us not just once, but twice. So really big shout out to this mayor and the city council for funding us for 2 years now. And so we've done a lot of the work. We've done a lot of one-on-one consultation and coaching, because that's what we do, the other part of what we do. But now we're bringing a whole bunch of the pieces that we've already been working on together. And all we ask is that people come together and realize that the only way we have financial freedom, financial independence, financial empowerment, spiritual formation, the only way that comes is through community. And so once you'll see it if you go on the website, but you don't see all the details. So we're holding some stuff back.
Right.
But I can't wait to release. We do it with bankruptcies. We do a lot of estate planning. We have given away $204,000 worth of services at my last count. We've helped, I don't know, whatever the number of people that we've helped whatever that number, 70-something people to secure $5.8 million of their assets through our estate planning affairs. Wow. And that's just that's not even everything calculated.
Right.
So we're into some big things for the kingdom, because we just don't believe once we get to heaven, listen, I'm secure in my salvation. So it ain't about heaven no more. It's about how I live down here on earth. What does it look like down here?
That's the truth, man. And you just continue to consistently show up. I will be definitely interested in learning more about how you're delivering these courses, your revamped approach, because it might be something I need to piggyback off of. I kind of think I have an idea. I would love, if the timing was right, if we could time it right, we'd love to have you come down and join us in one of our jail sessions, brother.
Listen, Can I break them over real quick?
Go ahead.
So we have an initiative that was really going strong before COVID. It's called the Pre-Release Financial Initiative. And this whole initiative is where we go into Department of Correction institutions and help individuals that are about to get out up to 24 months left on their time. And we were doing this in Georgia before the pandemic, right before the pandemic hit. Good stuff, teaching them just a whole bunch of financial things. But the whole point is there's enough barriers for an individual who has a mark on his or her record. And so what we said was, reentry, let's make reentry look different, right? Let's not wait till somebody gets out and now they have to struggle to figure out how to do life. So we found a way to be able to go inside and teach them and show them some things and help them to understand where they are before they get out. And then when they get out, we just continue that relationship. COVID happened, just couldn't go into the jails. You already know that. Right. Then it opened up in Lee County, Alabama, right? So in Lee County, Alabama, I won't say we tried it, but we were asked to come in and help with another organization. And as of Sunday, I got the call. We now get to launch this again at a jail in Alabama. And I'm just like, and I thought about you because I said, man, when we get these individuals who are in jail, when you give them hope while they're incarcerated, and you let them know that there's going to be some things, not just waiting on them on the outside, but we're going to help you right now. Yes. It will have a great impact on how these individuals on the inside, how they behave, right? It's part of behavioral modification, right? When you got hope on the inside, oh man, I got to get out of this camp because I got my credit straight. I need to go get me a car when I get out. I know because I got my credit straight.
Man. Yes. Dr. Dunlap, but we probably need to talk. We need to just have a brainstorming session for real. Of all the places that I speak, doctor, and I don't sound like I'm Zig Ziglar, but I get to speak in a lot of places. To be honest with you, I get the most satisfaction once a month when I go into that facility, brother. I'm serious, brother, because there ain't no put-ons. Right? You know what I mean? There ain't no show. These are real, raw human beings. And it's funny you've been saying that because Greg can confirm, he's on the chat, that we have been talking about getting prepared now while you're here.
Right.
Use this time as a gift, so when you get out, it's not a curse. Right. Yeah, I know I'm not a teacher. I'm just a radical John the Baptist, wild hair and the honey guy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I know my lane, brother. I try to stay in my lane. It's easy that way. But what I am seeing, and Sheriff Chip Hughes is really about reducing recidivism. That's why he brought us in. He said, I want to reduce folks coming back through the revolving door. And what we're finding is if they don't have a plan, if they haven't set up a strategy, if they're not prepared to exit out those doors, brother, it won't be but a few sunrises and they'll be back.
That's right. Let me throw this at you. One of our last class that we were participating in, I think it may have been 10 ladies, to have 2 out of the 10 within 2 weeks of getting out, knocking on our door saying, I need your, remember you came in with us, you gave us a car. Well, and when I'm talking about these ladies are out working on their credit, these ladies are out. We helped divert one from having a foreclosure on our home. These ladies are out making $15 an hour. I mean, I'm just saying, if you just put in the work. So I'm like you. I'd rather deal with people that are incarcerated and in prison than people who are free and in prison.
Did y'all hear that?
There's an appreciation for what you do, brother. I'm saying, because listen, prison ministry it's not new.
No.
So my question is, if here go Dunlap again. If there's so many prison ministries out there going into jails and prisons and behind the walls, and I used to work in correctional institution as well on the federal level, right? So if that is the case, then why are these individuals not better prepared when they come out? Why is recidivism has not worked like it needs to? I live in Alabama, one of the worst prison communities in the whole country. The federal government always knocking on our door like, hey, here go a fine. Hey, here go an investigation. I mean, that's just the way it is. But we got to do something different. And so I'm just believing that the work that you're doing and encouragement, And
Well,
we got this.
I wish, for those of you that listen to this segment, if you've not hung up on Dr. Dunlap's tithing book, just stay with us for a second, okay? Because Greg, you know how we feel. Let me just tell you, doctor, I understand. I don't go into the jail and try to, I have compassion. I love those people, but I don't go in there and try to circumvent what the order is. Okay, they're there for a reason, right?
Right.
When I speak to the female block, it's a huge, gigantic room, 2 stories. And on the bottom story, those ladies are behavior issues and they can't come out. So they have to listen to me speak through their food doors.
Right.
The other ladies up top, they can't come down, but they can listen to me sitting at their tables. And I'm just like, you know what? I feel like I'm speaking to them as if my life depends on it.
Mm.
Not that I'm getting some sort of, like, if they don't get nothing out of it, then I was an absolute failure. And I'll tell you why.
Mm.
I asked for surveys from the residents.
I
asked all of them. I got them, brother. I got the data now, baby, right?
Okay.
I got 2 surveys from them. One was a number survey. Tell us what you think, 1 through 5. The second survey at the end of the year, I had them write it in their own narrative form, what they felt about our 6 months there. Did you know, Dr. Dunlap, that one of the residents I spoke to when she was in middle school, and she wrote on her thing, I've been following you since I was in 7th grade.
Wow.
And now I'm 22.
Huh.
Brother, you just do not know. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. My reason for saying this is that I want to be, I don't want to be a superhero. I don't want to be viral. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be valuable. And if there was some way that we could brainstorm to connect what you have to these folks, even if it's in some sort of digital way, I wish our audience would help us get behind that thought process. Because right now, the reentry program that was in the jail is no longer there. So I'm probably the most radical thing going on in the jail right now. And, and I know, even being a professional speaker, that motivation is only going to take you so far.
That's right. Right.
You got to put the X's and O's together. I know that. You know what I'm saying? And we just need to think about it, brother. We need to pray about it, because if we can do something where borders are not an issue, because I'm knocking on the next sheriff's door. I'm knocking on the next county, right in this county. I can't even get in my own county, but I can go to another man's county. Go figure that. But Jesus said it. But I'm knocking on the sheriff's door here saying, hey, listen, man, we want to come and inspire your residents. We don't just want them to sit in here and rot and then get out and repeat again. Anyway, we need to think about that, doctor, because it's heavy on my heart, brother.
Let's do it. Listen, before the end of the month, let's have a plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in this space, brother, where, when stuff is on your heart, 15, 20 meetings, nah. Let's just get it.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that, you're not giving God an opportunity. God is already knocking on your heart.
Right.
So the thing that I need to do is, listen, let's set some time in the next week. Let's have a conversation. Let me show you what I'm working with, and let's put something in place, because I found that the proposals are the entryway. Here's my proposal for how we want to do this, and to be able to show the data, right? For me to be able to show, I know what the top country or top counties are in certain states when it comes to poverty, right? So let's connect to find out what the poverty rates are in the county. Yeah.
That's good, because we have the sheriff has been so amazing. He has just let us do whatever we feel to do. He has just given us complete autonomy. Sheriff Chip Hughes should be the lifetime sheriff in Craven County. And we get a meeting with him at the end of the month. So let's talk for real, because I'm about it. And people are telling me, King, you got to slow down. You got to stop. You got to chill. I don't have time to chill, brother. This big blue marble ball that we own is spinning, and I only got so many revolutions left.
Listen, I know you got to go, brother, but I tell you this. If I can get the jet going to be with y'all at the end of the month, trust me, I'll be there. So I'm going to see if I can find some petrol for the jet.
No, listen, that's just his secondary mode of transportation, y'all.
If I can find a pilot, you know.
It's a Tesla jet, too. Hey, Greg, send him the date that we're supposed to meet with Sheriff Hughes. Send Dr. Dunlap the date, brother. But yeah, man, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know you joined in on a conversation with two brothers talking.
Like, what the hell?
What is they doing? This ain't a podcast. It's about impacting lives, y'all. Dr. Nate Dunlap, our friend, founder, CEO of PRF Institute, and also coming out with the new book that should be released in April. You're going to hear about that on this program and many others. It'll be the 24th is when we meet with him at 10 a.m. So I don't know if you can swing it. Just look at it, but we need to have a proposal and plan together anyway, okay?
Got you.
And look, doctor, if need be, we could doggone FaceTime you in.
Okay.
You know,
gotcha.
Technology has made it so we can do things.
Okay. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for us tonight. You got any last words, doctor?
God bless everybody. Look forward to whatever God has for our lives, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, that's great. Well, we'll see you again real soon. Thank you for always taking me up on my opportunities to come in the show, brother. I love it. That's how I can always count on the doctor.
I'm glad I was dressed today.
Yeah, you dressed to a T, baby. All right, have a great night, doctor. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.